Ansel, and this is a North Port Newsbreak. It's been a year since Hurricane Ian, and as we all know, recovery in the aftermath of a hurricane can be a challenging and complex experience. To help shed some light on our recovery efforts over the past year, as well as a few lessons learned, I am joined today by our Emergency Manager, Stacy Aloisio. Welcome, Stacy.
Thank you. And thank you for pronouncing my name correctly. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. I aim to please. So I have a few questions for you, but as we look back over the past year, what do you think were some of the most significant changes or improvements that have been implemented in North Port's emergency management plan because of Ian?
There have been some great improvements. A lot of it is on the communication side and building up the relationships that we have with the county. We've had some turnover in staff in North Port. I'm new as an emergency manager, just started in January here, and the county has had some new employees as well, and their chief just retired, so they have a new chief hopefully starting soon. So just making sure we have good communication. We rely on them for a lot of resources, so we're building up those relationships. We also increased the capacity of our EOC. We added some new technology there that will help.
Yeah, so for anyone who's new, what's an EOC for our listeners?
Yeah, that's our Emergency Operations Center. So here in City Hall, we have a room. We bring in a lot of the key players that have the resources that we'll need to respond and recover, so we can all talk together, share resources, and really work towards the same objectives, so we're not fighting against each other and fighting for resources.
All right. So, Stacy, we know many people are still recovering from the impacts of this historic storm. In fact, we still have many of our own city facilities and amenities that haven't completely, bounced back yet. So where would you say we're at in terms of the city and community in terms of recovery?
Well, on the good news side, our grants department has done a great job with financial recovery and getting public assistance from FEMA to help reimburse us for a lot of the costs, especially from the debris side. Mm-hmm. As you are probably aware, we had a lot of debris in our roads, perhaps even equally, if not more significant, a lot of debris in the waterway. And our public works department has done a great job of clearing up that debris. There's still a lot of debris in our waterways. These storms keep hitting us and knocking more debris in as they're clearing it out, but they're making a lot of great progress. And then working with our long-term recovery groups and trying to get some assistance out to the people who are still recovering from Ian and anybody who has been impacted also by the most recent storm, Idalia.
So are there resources that our residents and business owners should know about? You talked about there's still some long-term recovery opportunities out there for people. What do people need to know that's out there that could help them?
Yes. So there is the Sarasota Long-Term Recovery Group run by the United Way, and they are just doing a phenomenal job. World Renew is bringing in some volunteers to help rebuild some homes, do some construction, some muck and gut cleanup type things. So that is going to be great. That's going to be happening in the next couple of months, and World Renew will be in and out over the next year or so to help as they can. There's also other resources available, so I just recommend checking out the Sarasota Long-Term Recovery Group online and looking up what's available, and you can request assistance. They have spiritual care, mental health assistance, caseworkers that are able to walk you through any processes you might need help with. So that's a good place to start. Also keeping an eye out for anything related to resilient SRQ. Mm-hmm. Sarasota County received over $201 million. A bulk of that is going to be made available to residents of Sarasota County who were impacted by Hurricane Ian. And that money is going to be made available hopefully early 2024. There's some hoops that need to go through, and this kind of money is made available, unfortunately. Long-term recovery is called long-term for a reason. We wish we could move faster, but we're moving as quickly as we can. So that money will hopefully be made available, but you need to apply for these resources yourself. So just every once in a while, look up Resilient SRQ and see if that money's opened up yet. And I know our communications department will do a great job letting everybody know when that comes up.
We will be pushing that out there. So if you are tech savvy, Google is probably your best friend right now. So go ahead and Google Resilient SRQ. You can also look up Sarasota Long-Term Recovery, and that's probably the quickest way for our folks to find those resources. So, and when all else fails, you can always give us a call, 429-7000, and our friendly call center team can certainly help point you in the right direction. So All right, so Stacy, back at it. So, how did the city work with other government agencies and community organizations, volunteer groups to coordinate relief efforts during our response?
Yes. So we worked closely with FEMA. The grants department is still working closely with FEMA. And with the state, we have a state recovery representative and operations representative that is assigned to Sarasota County that we keep in touch with. And then, of course, our lovely county and even Charlotte County, they're actually much closer to us than the Sarasota County EOC is. So keeping in touch with them and keeping those relationships strong has been very helpful and beneficial.
Sounds like in some ways that this has been the silver lining, if anything, is that relationships have strengthened during the storm and that we're talking with our partners and our other agencies and volunteer groups through all of this and finding a way forward. So
definitely. And even building those relationships with our other municipalities here in Sarasota County. For example, our fire chief just sent up high water vehicles for Idalia to Longboat Key to help them out up there. So we're more familiar now with what resources we have close by. We can share resources, which means they don't have to deploy all the way from Tallahassee to get here from the state. Our neighbors have them.
And it gives us a chance to pay it forward, the help we receive.
It does, yeah.
All right. So can you describe a moment for us, during the hurricane response where you felt particularly proud or inspired by the response of our community?
There are a few. One, this was pretty recently after the storm. I was finally able to go home and it was dark outside. And anybody after Ian knows how dark it was. No lights anywhere. And you can see off in the distance this parade of emergency lights. And you just knew there's cops, firefighters, EMTs, search and rescue, FPL, just all of these responders coming down to help from all across the country. And it just was a great feeling to know, you're not alone in this. We're in a bad spot, but people are coming to help. And it's not just North Port by itself. So that was great. And then also just seeing what faith-based organizations can do, what our CERT teams can do, other volunteer organizations, people out there, they want to help.
Yes.
Even when they're struggling themselves with their recovery. I saw a lot of people who just want to help and pitch in and tapping into those resources and pointing them in the right direction to the people who really need it was just
that was
inspiring.
One of the things for me that was amazing in the initial response was how many calls from the helpers, and these are people who are flooded or have lost parts of their home or vehicles and it was just such a great feeling to know that our community was so united in the time of need and moving forward and recovering from this. So that was, the helpers were appearing all over the place.
Yes.
That's phenomenal. So, as you're looking back over the past few months since you've been here and joined us and helped us through the recovery process, what lessons did you learn about emergency management that you believe will be valuable in our future disaster responses?
Yes. So I'm going to touch upon this again. It's the relationships that you have with people. It's knowing who has the resources that you need and how to get a hold of them and get a hold of those resources as quickly as possible. That's an effective response, right? You know what you need and you know how to get it and you know how to get there quickly and you know how to execute those plans. So relationships and then a lot of training and exercising, especially with these the turnover of employees, making sure everybody's trained and understands their roles. And we got lucky with Idalia in the fact that we had a lot of new people in the EOC and we had trained them. They knew their roles, but it's one thing to know your roles and another thing to be able to put it into practice. So I was very proud of our team. We did a wonderful job. And I'm very confident that going into the next disaster, hopefully doesn't happen anytime soon. But
we're all knocking on wood in here for those who can't see us. But
I am very confident in the team that we have moving forward and the relationships that we've built with local partners, with the county, with the region, with the state.
And I think that's such an important thing to highlight. So for all our residents who don't know, there are so many fabulous staff who do training so that they can come and respond. And many of our own staff, live here, and this is where we live and work and love and have our family and friends. So many of our own staff, sacrifice and come in and respond in situations such as this And they're here working to help make sure our entire community is safe. And I just think we're so blessed to have so many wonderful, strong people who can come in and do that and support us. So thank you for being one of them.
Oh.
And as we look forward, let's bring it back for our residents. Not only can they be assured that, they have people who care about them, who we're all here working together to make sure that they're safe and that they're getting the help they need, but what are some things that they can do to make sure that they also are prepared and ready to respond? We're still in the thick of hurricane season right now. We know that's something that happens every single year. So what can our residents do to be ready?
Yes. So I've been talking about relationships and communication a lot. So along that theme, we're going to try to push information out to you. And one of the best ways to do that is signing up for Alert North Port. So if you're tech savvy, you can do it online. If you download our North Report app, you can sign up for Alert North Port through that as well. And the North Report app is another way you can communicate with us and send us any issues through the app. And following us on social media, again, is just a great way to keep in touch with us and know when evacuation decision making happens, when we're opening up shelters. And then also, shameless plug, I have a Storm Smart series that you can check out that has a lot of tips and tricks for hurricane preparedness and readiness. So you can watch those videos. Go to ready.gov. There's information on there about how to create an emergency supply kit. So go on there. And then if you're new to the area and you're not sure how to set up hurricane shutters, not sure how to prepare your home, talk to your neighbors, see what they do, ask them to help you set up your hurricane shutters so you know how long it would take. I didn't think it would take me that long to set up my hurricane shutters. Luckily, my boyfriend was there to help me do it. I didn't have to do it alone. But it takes a little bit longer than you might think. Yes. And it's one of the last things you probably do because you want to be able to see outside of your windows and you're trying to pack everything up. So making sure that you know how much time you need to evacuate, because time runs out pretty quickly when these storms are coming, and they can always speed up, slow down. You never know what they're going to do. So just being prepared ahead of time, know how much time you need to take, have an evacuation plan, communicate that plan with family and friends. They know where you are. There's so many things you could be doing.
That's fantastic information. So, well, Stacy, thank you for spending the time with us today. For our listeners at home, please bookmark northportfl.gov/alerts. That's northportfl.gov/alerts. You're going to find great information on there. You're going to find the links to a lot of the resources we talked about today, including the communication tools that we have. And it's a great way to stay connected when you need it the most. And that's it. Thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next news break.